Hey guys, we are on a beautiful day. We had 3 inches of rain in about an hour last night. And my ponds are showing. They came up several feet in one night. Texas, amazing. We weren't even supposed to have rain. Isn't that cool? I'm gonna switch around and share some of this greenery. And actually, it ain't too darn hot. Yeah, it's a little brown because I had a lot of silt go through. Man, that old log just might float out now. I'm still not as full as I can get. All of the rocks got a nice washing. We were desperate for some water. And in Texas, when it comes hard and fast. Washed off my rocks. Beautiful job. You can see it carved into the rock thousands of years ago when this was a plateau. And you'd be able to see down to the San Marcos River. Crazy, this big old rock is 30 foot across, all the way back to way over there. As a matter of fact, it looks to me like things got a lot of water in them last night. But shouldn't have. Oops. Okay. Grease guns. So, some things seem to never change and other things change overnight. I wanted to go ahead and communicate with anybody that's not familiar. Oh, goody. Goody. With kind of what's going on. I'm going to be trying to find ways, also I'll fill up the water, to go ahead and pay down the last balloon note on the properties. And either sell off something or sell off a bunch of materials so we can set up a trust over here. A place where people can come and be part of building out a retreat. A place where you can come out of the city and have a nice evening away, an anniversary, come down and get in the kayaks, go out in Dragon's Lair. Look at that, how high it came in one night. You can tell we weren't expecting it. We literally picked up, 2 feet of water, 3 feet of water in a single night. And it's still flowing in. I need to move those out of the way. There's one of our loons. Not very scared. Go sit down in the other area. On the other side, there's 3/4 of a mile of kayaking that you can do if you want to go online and watch a real cool video to music. My son made the music. It's Song of Salvage. It's a version where you can see the kayak bayous that I created a long time ago. Yeah. So much has changed. But I have a vision, and I'm hoping others will come and share it. Where we can have areas where we grow things, like organic food. And this is supposed to be a nice little picnic area and gathering area for eating, and having areas we can grow, including underground, somewhat like this. You can tell everything's thriving down there. If we wanted to have plants that we could plant on the sides, get watermelon and various things growing around here. This is supposed to hold about maybe 8 tiny houses, master suites, coming along through here. And master suite gives you a place to go to at night, a place to rest, and a place to have your privacy. You can see the upper ponds, okay? And that goes down to the lower ponds. It's almost a 30-foot waterfall. It purifies the water and reoxygenates it, and you can hear it. It's pretty active right now. I haven't finished building it out all the way, but when it's done, these are going to be rocks, and waterfalls that split the water up and have a frequency to them, like the rock work in other places in the past, where the water passes through, and as it does, it changes the frequency and tunes it up. So we got at least 2 feet of water. There's another cypress log that I pulled over here from the 1998 floods. That one is probably a tree that was probably over 1,000, 2,000 years old even. And the other part's over there. Soon we'll be able to float those all back out again and be able to play on them. So you get to walk on them and stand on them and see who can stand on the longest by trying to unbalance them for somebody else when you're playing. It's a blast. It's a blast. On the far side, you see the tops of the I-10, the vehicles out there. That's how close you are when you come by here. Salvage, Texas is right on the highway. It's amazing. You can see the water now over on the other side there. That's actually part of a whole system. Up on top, this is where the beavers and turtles, all the critters here help take care of the property. We have deer that come up from the river. San Marcos River's right over there. And the beavers moved up here from the river. And the otters and turtles and fish. I added the fish. Hoping I still have fish. Turtles are terrible on fish. Over here you see kayak bayous. Now, kayak bayous is all sorts of little places you can go with a kayak, chase each other, play hide and seek. It looks to me like we're almost level, which has taken me years to accomplish. Took just the right rain, just the right flow. Now I can still add, you can see the water levels. This will still absorb another 2 feet. So I'm going to switch over and limit what goes into there and direct it over to here more. And then I can fill this up the rest of the way. And all we have to do to increase that flow is go up and move one way or the other a little beaver dam. Believe it or not, the beavers have engineered the whole property from where I start this pond, which is about 4 miles of shoreline. If you go along the shoreline and measure shoreline, which is a really strange thing to do, but people do it. You can do it with a drone, but you measure all the shoreline. It adds up pretty fast. When you look at some of these ponds, can be hundreds. Oh, there's another loon. Wow, beautiful, beautiful. They live in the lagoons I created at the top here, and they can actually then go ahead and nest and hunt and feed. So these two are connected with a pipe underneath, and then the pipes go down there and create the waterfalls. And underneath this big mound, there's a giant piece of pipe, and it carries the water from this side. Now what's crazy is the otters have an otter slide over here. And look how high the water is. It's going through there and coming out the far side. But if I don't tip over, here's the otter slide. So the otters come out of there and go over here and then go down the slide. All the way down the bottom, way down there. And then the beaver makes a pond. See how much flow we've got going that direction. I want to redirect that flow to this direction. If it could absorb it. Now that's the question. Can it absorb it? And so we look at the situation. And over here, we don't have to do a lot to change it. But we affect the flow rates. How easy is this? Putting the rock over here dramatically reduces that flow. Now, in the process of doing that, it redirects it that direction. The beavers learned this a long time ago. So you take that and you throw things like that in there. And ultimately, that causes the water not to be able to flow. And the less water that can flow on that spot, the more water is going to flow in the other direction. Now, same way over here, if I want to go ahead and increase this, I take and eliminate that little dam right there. Change this a little bit. Increase that flow rate. And now, most of this will end up getting diverted over to my other pond. Now, if you look at what I started with, and you tell a lot of times if a beaver's made the branch or if it's just been broke. Sometimes it's just broke branches. Other times you can tell because the beaver eats them. Okay, that's dramatically reduced the flow because I can over at that end if I want to. Okay, now beaver taught me this. Now you see that flow rate there. Dramatically increased. Now, getting that crud out of the middle increases the flow rates. And then we go back over. Yeah, I can hear the difference. Have to be very careful stepping through here. There's a lot of blackberries. They're doing very well. Then, over here, mind you, this is floating somewhat. See? Then you go like this. Now that allows that pipe that goes all the way through to the side to flow faster. Ergo, all the way down, the waterfalls and everything increase their flow rates. You can see how this one's higher than this one. The pipe goes through there, comes out, then goes down through here, and comes out. And you can see I've got a clearing PVC in there for clearing. If I get to it, it was dry. Here we go. Now, what I'm doing is I'm flushing now all that will show you quickly how this flows. Whoa. This is what we call flow. That discharge rate, you can see just popping out like crazy. That'll go in here and circulate. Now, that's nutrient. A lot of nutrient. And as that nutrient comes in here, it gives it a place to settle. And then we had Egyptian papyrus, and we have normally cattails and all that. And beavers then eat off of those. They don't eat meat. They're strictly vegetarians. So see that flow now. Now as it comes out, you'll be able to see how it curls and then eventually works its way over to where it goes down below. Now, it's not nasty water. It's actually good water. Now over here, these puppies have water flowing in them. You can see they also have some obstructions. So I need to reduce the obstructions so that the pressure is reduced so the flow rate increases. To do that, I need to knock it out of there. So I'm going to look for a instant tool, which means being clever. How far would I have to walk to get clever enough? Now, second thing, of course, is that on the way down there, that's blackberries. And I have no protection. Blackberries are wonderful to eat, but they have vines on them that will change your life fast. That means hurt, bleed. Oh, look at the deer. So there's a deer here since last night even. Came through. This is how you do it. You just track him. There he goes. Pretty good size. Nice stride. Good distance between steps. Part of the way you can tell. Okay. I'm looking for a tool. The tool being long, lightweight, and able to go ahead and push it out without me going down there. How's that sound for an objective? By the way, this is the juice bar, and there's Homer. Get it? He's sitting there, all natural. So, this is a long discussion about the possibilities all the old brick and all the things you see, because that's what my life is about. One amazing possibility, just like yours. What are you doing with it? What are you making of this chance to be a human on a planet at a critical time? I say critical time. How many people know why this is a critical time? How many people understand the forces at work trying to disrupt our ability to thrive? Whose are? I guess that's the question. Who are we? Well, that's always part of the question. Who is the we? And who are the other guys? Because if there's a we, there must be a they. Isn't that the way it seems to go? So we want to go ahead and do away with that and allow the flow to get better and better. So obstructionists, and sometimes you have to have them, obstructions deplete flow rates. Now, if you obstruct something badly enough, it stops flowing. Society can be like that. So, in order for that not to happen, you want to listen to that flow rate. So, when the flow rate increases, and this amounts to the rate of energy flowing through a system, we start tapping that every 5 feet, you can get power, DC current, 5 feet, more DC current, and you can make little power stations all the way down. That can actually, each one of those can take care of a house using water. Just the natural flow of water. Now, all of this can happen simply by re-engineering some land so that in one night it retained all this water that would have gone to the San Marcos River through what was a contaminated acreage due to a industrial waste dump. So what I've done is then turn it around, capture it, retain it, separate it, revitalize the water. And when I do that, you can barely see in there. See the water sparkling in the distance, flowing through the trees. These are giant cedar trees, and their root systems are connected. So in theory, this tree, it's not just a theory, I can show you in the woods, takes the water and moves it through its root system and then purifies it and puts it out down below. You can see the flow through here when beaver has the damming, and it goes down about 3 feet and it goes through there. It can either go through the far side down to kayak bayous, or it can go all the way out to the right. This system is made up of old drilling system pipe out of Humboldt Oil in Texas, and they had pipes going across here to move oil. This is a greenhouse we're building, and they would move oil underground. And so when I bought the property, it said danger oil pipe, and I went, gas pipes, So I contacted, and now what do you know, Exxon said, no, that's abandoned. You see right over there, see the water flowing out. That is water flowing from the ponds. That'll be Walden Pond. You can see it swelling out of there. It's amazing. So that water then goes through here. It starts much further away. On the far side, you see is an overflow. So that when it gets a certain amount, it can flow over there and into the other bayous. What's the bayous? Well, this is part of our group. Hi, baby. Yeah, that's a goat pen. She walks on the goat pen. And then over here, that takes us back to the otter run. And then down here, thanks to this beautiful night of rain, oh my gosh, we're going to be able to bring kayaks all the way up to here and do a turnaround and go back out. There's all paths through the woods right here. And I've shown in prior videos how this captures a lot of the stuff that would have gone into the San Marcos River. Otherwise, there goes a turtle making his way into the waters. So turtles, beavers, otters, raccoons, all sorts of things live in here now. Now, some of the healthy trees, like the Spanish oaks and some of that. But what you see behind you is totally landfill. And it was basically castings and stuff. And this is what I've been fighting with the banks about for years, is they're trying to hide all this so they could take the land away from me after they started to take it and figured out I was telling the truth, that this is not rocks, it's old casting molds that took out all of the impurities for the stainless steel and other things that they were making here. And nobody wanted to help and take care of it. The county didn't want to do anything, the state didn't want to do anything, the feds didn't want to do anything. And so yours truly decided to take this on as a challenge and make this livable again. So I started taking everything up, and as much as I could, believe it or not, this is 8 foot deep underneath us. That mound, the ship of Salvage Dreams, sits in front of a pond that's 20 foot deep. That's how far I had to dig to get past all of the stuff that's in the ground. Now, it looks like normal ground, but a lot of it was toasted. So this is what I created. And this is an island, and beavers live here, and fish and turtles. There goes one there. Oop, he saw me. He's just pretty relaxed. There's another one over there. I got too many. You're supposed to be able to make turtle soup out of them. I'm about to think about that. Too many turtles. Eats all your fish. Apparently eats everything. So, except each other. Now, beavers don't eat fish, don't eat turtles. Otters do, and I have some otters. I don't know how they're thriving. This is a beaver house. Beaver lives under here, amongst other places. He has a number of his little nests, and he has a whole den in there. And then the island out there, when the strain's down, the more islands exposed, but that's a lot of water in the pond right now. It's amazing, just amazing. So we could plant more houses here, the goal being to have tiny getaways. Your master suite would be right there on the water, or the master suite would be over here in the woods and in the shade and overlooking the canyon at night. And as you can hear from here, the noise is really not as big a problem as you would imagine for the highway being so close. Over here I could have tiny houses, and I would have some. This mound right here is reshapeable, but likewise I could have a little house here and a little house here overlooking this edge of the property line. These are the things that still can be done. And now that I've put together the foundations to make it happen, there's a path that goes back through here to the other side where we could have a few more houses. And tiny houses, not meant to have your kitchen and your living room and everything there, but have your master suite, your bedroom, your place to come to Salvage, Texas and get out of the city and meditate, relax, to ground, to get in the water, to touch the earth, to see the greenery. The infrared radiation off of the earth and off of the greenery is amazing. If you want to see it, the cameras can show it. Isn't that so crazy? You're not supposed to be up there. I'm not finished. Oh, jeez. You're too heavy. I haven't finished it. So, all of this is designed and intended to give us a place to retreat to retreat from the city, to retreat from the system that does this destruction. So after every rain, if you come out here, this is some of the paraphernalia that shows up. There's buried in the dirt. So it's great to live on top of it, but I wouldn't want to have a child running through here in the mud and running into, would you believe, that was stainless steel put into the ground in probably 1994 when the foundry was here. And so they had all this stuff that accumulated in the soil. And it's not just a little bit. I mean, we're talking in that small amount of dirt. I pulled up just that much. And when you start talking about it on a larger scale, it turns into hundreds of pounds, thousands of pounds. It's actually pretty cool looking stuff. These are Rorschachs. And so what I'd like to do is maybe consider start selling some of these Rorschachs. These Rorschach means in the old days you take a drawing and you have people look at it. And by what they saw, you could tell from psychology tests if they were violent or if they were distorted in the way they thought and saw things. And so these are metal Rorschachs. But look at this. This is all actually technically potentially contaminated dirt in many cases, and very few rocks actually. Some of this slag from the top. It was the foam on the top as they poured out the metal from underneath. There was foam. In some cases, just droplets. But the droplets are so cool. Look at the droplets. This is stainless steel. And it's like, oh my goodness, probably 50 years old. Oops, I don't know if you can see these. But amazing little pieces. And so I gathered some of them because they're just like for jewelry. But you can imagine my dismay. I didn't know any of this was here. And so, look at that. After all these years, that's 40 years of being in the ground. Now that is some weatherproof stainless steel. Oops. And it's in here embedded. You'll see filings. This is one of the piles I made in the process of clearing it. Staggering. Now we could pound this out, we can make things with it. It's not that it's unusable, but it wasn't suitable to make a subdivision in without fixing it. And so all of this is part of my plan. This is the Ark, one of the houses. And as you may know if you've ever stayed here, Vicky 2, the kid, the blue moon, the people coming over there in the trees, Ginger Swan, afar, Vicky 1. I want to have all these continue to be available for people to stay in, to experience this, but also to add more houses. If we add more houses, we'll have a way to go ahead and show how this could work for families that want to unite or create something, to capture homesteads and to hold on to them by having methods available. Methods. What's a method? It's a way or a means to have life, growing food, chickens, goats. All these are parts of a puzzle. And if you put the puzzle together right, you can have a place to stay and to travel from. To go around the world to see your kids in the good seasons, to come here in our good seasons, and we get a lot, and be able to experience all this. And when you leave, you can have it be a bed and breakfast. Your little tiny house can make you money. There's fish in here, but look how the water came up almost 8 inches last night and went back down again due to that pre-rain. And what that tells you when you see things like that, these ponds have lots of fish in them. Many years ago, I made a video on here. It's Darby video. Sculpted body of 58 the Skinny Dip Pond. Today, it's a little bit brown from all the rain. But I'm going to get oxidized. I found out there's something I put in there, and it'll make it all good. See the turtles? He saw us. Yeah, there's beaver home over there, underneath. All of this over here is artificial, of course, didn't exist. That's the cave, my house. This is the waterways. And through here, the beaver, otters, fish. Beaver keeps it up high. That goes all the way back to the next pond, way over there. Wraps around over here. We probably even potentially took water in all the way over there. Great oak, when I started, this was very small, half this diameter. It's managed to thrive with the water all around it and grow. Except we found out where the beaver decided he's going to go ahead and change it. So we had to start, if you can see through there, painting with sanded old paint. So you put a bunch of sand in the paint and paint the trees, and it's nasty. Beaver don't want to eat it. Beaver don't like it. So that seems to be working. Look, he was going to try to eat these trees. Look at that. Can you believe that? How far he got. So, if you want to know how to stop beaver, that's the way. This is our goats, our little goat family. Here's such babies. Yes. Bah. 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 Hi, baby. I know, baby. Yeah. Yeah. They're also friendly. But that's the idea. You can bring your kids here and actually introduce them to this stuff. Say, hey kids, look, these are animals. Hey kids, look, they're friendly. And if you do that, children become accustomed to animals instead of scared of them. Would you believe that's happening in this day and age? Kids are afraid of animals that won't hurt them. Now this is one of the beaver dams. He's built this up several feet over the years. It leads down to that one. He's got the whole thing underneath, you can tell, house under the bridge. As we enter over here, this is the final sort of area of Salvage, Texas, and the Hermitage. My home is in the back. Down below is a cave and all sorts of things, but this has gotten too long. And so I want to thank everybody for visiting today. And thank you. Over the years, the few people that get to see this, I say few, because it's gotten to the point that maybe 70 or 80 people will get exposed to what I put up. Literally exposed. They won't show it to anybody, so it's kind of hard for you to see it. And I didn't understand this days, although I had a suspicion, but now we've got all the ample evidence we need to show that Facebook and Meta and almost all the platforms, Twitter, X, call it whatever you want, it's still relatively controlled as to who gets to be seen or heard, who gets to be talked about in positive ways. And my ways of doing things is salvaging and staying healthy, having muscles when you get old. Now, what concept? But it doesn't make you popular with powers that want you sick and dependent. I'm not saying independent, I'm saying sick and dependent on the drugs. So, amazing video I watched today, Dr. Stefan, and she's got some amazing proof about glyphosate and how you can use chlorine hydroxides and to go ahead and turn the glyphosate back into usable nutrition for your body and to clean your gut up so that your gut operates better and doesn't cause you to have a paralyzed gut and thus not be able to actually take a crap because your system is all messed up. This is incredible stuff. The new information coming out, and they're trying to ban these poor women. The doctors that are doing the research and showing autism. Autism can be cured. And the earlier the better. And we can do this with simple things that go ahead and make the intestinal tract work better, make the bacteria able to make the proteins we need. This is all about protein, kids. It's all about amino acid complex. It's all about glycine and how glyphosate blocks glycine channels that allow chloride to move through your system like it's supposed to. Now, there's lots of ways of looking at this, but the best way to look at it is they're getting results, amazing results. And I'm saying kids who are autistic are able to then go ahead and operate in society alongside other kids without defective syndromes, because it clears up the pathways so they can think clearer, less brain fog. It clears up the pathways so their body is healthier, less cancer. Please, stop talking about vaccines and start talking about things you can do to make your body healthier at a younger age so you don't get sick. You won't get sick. None of this stuff will affect you if you're healthy. Your body's immune system is the most amazing thing in the world. Added to it, if you teach yourself the placebo powers, how to convince yourself you're going to get healthier every day of your life, how to convince yourself. Because if you convince yourself and you believe it, with God's help, you will get healthier. Miracles happen all the time. Grounding, touching the earth to your skin or through leather on moccasins every day. Sunlight on your skin every day. Why? If you don't, you will suffer. All that water showed up in one night thanks to being created ahead of time, a reservoir to hold it. In Texas, if you don't have a reservoir, all your water runs away. So that reservoir is huge back there. You can't even see it all. But there's a company out there that wants to tear this up, turn this into parking lots. Not park as in I have done, which is a wildlife park, and a chance to go ahead and recuperate dead property. That's what happens when you kill property. Now the bank prefers to hide that. South Star Bank, when they found out after I told them and they proved it with testing, hid the testing and required anybody that came and looked at it sign non-disclosures or to not be able to take copies out because they wanted to hide it all and thus doing, be able to go ahead and allow that contamination and all that stuff to go out into the river and to be developed without consciousness. In other words, concern. Now it just jerks my chain to see people do that. So I want to go ahead and stop it. Part of that is to go ahead and sell off enough stuff, materials, houses, some of you see in the bay, about $400,000 or $500,000, clear all the debt out. And then there's nobody can say what you can and can't do. It's all about taxes and debt. And then we're going to set up a trust so that your younger kids, anybody under 70 is younger, and you can have a chance to go ahead and make this incredible again. The pieces of the puzzle are here, and we can reassemble what was attempted to be destroyed. Time to look. I've been on a little walk as we talk. Once upon a time, when you see the pictures, this was water all the way over to there. Water there's actually 20 some feet higher. But most of the water you see as we walk around on this rock, this is all part of a vision. That rock and that slab. I had this built up where you couldn't see or hear. And this was all waterways and canyons. But the guys with the bulldozers with no good sense about them decided to go ahead and cave it all in, hoping to make a parking lot. I don't like that idea. There are catfish in here, turtles in here. This is a spring. It's actually spring fed. This is an oasis. The deer come here. This is something special. And when I was building it, I ran across this rock. And this rock is also very special. And down below, inside the womb, I had a dream. You can see the cave, and the house is supposed to be in there. And then on the far side, another house, multiple levels with glass and water flowing through it. This is the cap on a giant cave. Another cave down there. Now that one has actually been full of water because that's been water all the way up to the bottom of that rock. That was our high point, the high point that the water would go to naturally. I found this when I was 65. I decided I needed a hole in the top, and I asked God to show me how I get a hole through this 8-foot piece of rock. And I came up here, and lo and behold, I dug all this out. It already was dug out, filled in with dirt over the many centuries, and all this filled in with, believe it or not, bentonite clay and volcanic ash. But when I got it all done, you can see the weathering. And this is actually the capstone. When you turn it upside down, this sat in that hole. So much of this you have to look at and go, wait, that just really looks like somebody had an intention at one time, a purpose. Especially when you find the carvings in the tops of these rocks. How did these rocks appear? Well, it seems like maybe it was actually thanks to incredible lightning bolts. Now, when I tried to get my fear of falling out of the way, I got my eyes fixed. I was blind before that, in one eye, particularly in my right eye. And so I jumped off of there and landed down there. And Trinity filmed it over there so that I could get over my fear of falling, of heights. And that did it. I got over it. All those trees you see growing down there, none of that was there before. Those are willow trees. They sing to you at night. Some of the first things that grow in the water like that. So much of this I want to buy back at some point from the evil entities that took it away through not notifying me properly and literally sneaking it through a system that's broken. This is what banks do in Texas. But if I live long enough, I will be able to go ahead and see that payback come around. And if I have the support here for the rest of this to develop and sell all the materials off, we'll have millions of dollars to go ahead and take that property back with. Because ultimately, they will not get to develop it. I told them that. It will be the most expensive development they'll ever have tried to tackle. And being a logistics company, M2, out of San Marcos, with a short Marine fat boy at the helm, it's one menace to society, especially my society. So, the challenge, though I would have chosen not to accept it, is to now reformat and to repurpose and to realign the properties, the resources, the people who want to be involved, and then come back like a phoenix and go out and sell the concept that this is possible. We had to have a proof of concept. Look at the trees. Most of this was that level when I started. All of this is artificial elevation with an intention to capture the water. Water is life. So, as I venture from one property to another, across this one in the middle, this still exists. Amazingly, I created this when I turned 64. That's 6 years ago. It took me 2 months. 2 months of digging, day and night, creating canyons. This canyon, were it not filled with dirt from their bad choices, there was a big old tree living on top of that rock. That rock runs from all the way over there. Over there we can go under it, and that's the underside that you'd be facing over there through. And there'd be a waterfall coming out of the floor of the house I was going to build there. But God delays things for reasons beyond our control. Isn't that the... Thank you. Thank you for being part of my world. Thank you for sharing what's possible. Teach the children. Just because you're 60 doesn't mean you can't do anything. Just because you're 70, just because you're 80, it gets better. If you take care of yourself, honor that vessel. Look at doing things like chlorine dioxide. Look at doing things that change your world, because it changes your health. Don't inject a bunch of shit into your body through needles. Take orally what you need to go ahead and through the earth and through the air to be healthy. Please. Please. Listen. Share. I'll talk to you later.